Hello children, let me welcome you to the virtual training center of the Brihan Mumbai Mahanagar Palika. My name is Shraddha Teacher. Children, we are in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic, isn't it? Because of that, we are not able to go to school, but that doesn't mean that we are going to stop learning. We are going to meet here regularly through the virtual training center to learn many lessons in EVS. So come on, let's go to a lesson in EVS. Hello children, let me welcome you to a class in standard 3rd EVS. Now children, look at the screen. What can you see? You can see a natural surrounding, okay, a natural picture where there are some birds flying in the blue sky, there are small mountains, there are a lot of trees, there's grass all around. So this lesson is going to be about what we see around us. So what do we see around us? We see birds, we see animals, we see insects. So what is this on your screen? This is a butterfly. So when you go to a garden or when you go outside, you must be seeing butterflies on the plants and trees. You can also see different kind of animals around you. Some of them are domestic, some of them are wild. There are some big animals and also there are certain small animals also. Look at this. This is a very small animal. We get to see it sometimes in our houses. Okay, it is a rat. So we get so many things, or we can see so many things around us. So all these things, along with the animals, along with the birds, along with the big animals, small animals, the mountains, the grass, the sky, the clouds, and whatever you can see here on this picture, all together we call it as our environment. All right, so this is lesson number 1 in your EVS textbook for this year, and the name of the lesson is our environment. Now, since this is the first lesson that we are doing, let us just take a look at our textbook. So children, till last year you learned English and mathematics. This year you will be learning EVS also, that is along with learning ABCD, along with learning words and sentences, along with learning numbers. You will also be learning a little bit about our surroundings, our environment, and then that is why it is called as environmental studies. All right, so see, this is the cover page of your textbook. There are so many beautiful little children like you, and there are so many animals also. You can see some birds in the nest. You can see a bird in the hollow of a tree. You can see a lake and there are some fish in the lake. All right. There are butterflies, there are rabbits. There are so many different kind of colorful plants. There is a very big tree. So see, there are so many things that we have surrounding us. All these things are part of our environment. All right, so this is what we're going to learn in our environmental studies this year. Let us now take a look at the back cover page of your textbook. Again, you have the same things, but remember, along with the animals, along with the lake, with the tree, with the birds, now you also can see some houses. So the houses that we built, the buildings that you can see, these are also part of our environment. So this year you will be learning many interesting things about the animals, about time. You will be learning about the village that you are living in or the city that you are living in. You will be learning about water, you will be learning about air, about food, and yes, you will be learning about your own body also. We will be learning about the sensory organs that we have, that is our eyes, nose, okay, ears. You will be learning about the teeth which we have in our body. We will also be talking about our family, about our school, and about our clothes. So this environmental studies as a subject is going to be very, very interesting to learn. All right, so come on, let us start on this interesting journey by doing the first lesson today. So, you will open the textbook if you have the textbook with you, children. Now, whenever I teach you a lesson here through the video, always try to keep your textbooks open so that you and me can talk about or look at or understand the same things. And also remember, children, when you finish watching this video, there are a few things that I will ask you to do. I will ask you to fill up a Google form. I will ask you to answer some questions. All right, I will tell you in detail about these things later. But remember, you just don't have to watch the video and put off the phone or the computer. But yes, you have to also do certain tasks also. I have a small things for you to do. So this is the first, you can say, picture which you will find in your textbook. There are certain things on this picture. So come on, let's take a good look at them, and you can also easily tell the names of these things, isn't it? So what are these things? Let us try and name them. Okay, so come on, what is the first thing that you can see over here? Yes, it is a bat. All right, and then we have a cup from which we drink tea, we drink coffee. After that, here we have a pot which is made up of mud, okay, or clay. And then we have a spool of a thread, that is thread which your mummy uses in order to stitch certain things. So these things you use every day. You can name them very easily. But have you ever tried to think about how these things are made and with what materials they are made? And then where do we find these materials with which these things are made? Okay, and we know the uses of these things. All right, so now let us think about how these things are made, from where these things come. So let us take a look at the bat first. So what do you think? How is the bat made? Yes, the bat is made using wood. So can you see the carpenter here? He is shaping a piece of wood in order to make this bat. And then from where do we get this wood? So bat is made from wood. But what about wood? From where do we get wood? We get wood from trees. So you see, in a way, you are able to play cricket because of these trees. So did you see how we get various things and from where these things are we get it from? Let us look at one more thing now. So what is this man doing? Yes, he's making a pot. Can you see the pots behind there? Lined up, so many pots he has made. And how does he make these pots? See, he takes mud or he takes clay and he puts it on the wheel and he gives it the shape of a pot. That means pots are made using clay. All right, and of course we use these pots in order to cook in them, to store water in them. So these are the things, and this is from where we get the things. So we get bat from wood, we get pot from clay. So there are so many other things also that we get in nature. For example, look at this. What is this? Yes, it is a fruit which many of us love, isn't it? These are bananas. Now, what do we do with bananas? We eat them when we are hungry. Also, we make a lot of interesting dishes with bananas. We make milkshakes, we make ice creams, okay? And we use all these things, see? So there are so many things that we get from nature which we use. There are so many things which we get from the surrounding that we use. For example, we use wood, we use clay, we use fruits, okay? So these are the various things that we can find in nature. So in this picture, you will see various things that are there around you. All right, let us try and identify a few of them. Let us try and name a few of them. So look here, look at this star here. What are those things? Yes, those are stones. All right. Now what about these? They are rocks. They are small, small hills. Okay. And what about this? Yes, it is a river. We can also call it as a stream. Okay. And then let us look at something else also. See, that is a hill or a mountain. Along with that, you can see many trees there. You can see grass. You can see soil. So see, there are so many different kind of things that you will find in your surroundings. So now we will start calling this surroundings as our environment. Okay. See now, this is one more picture. Let's take a look at this picture and try and see some more things that we find in the environment. So see here, what is this? These are open places. We can also call them as fields. Okay, see, houses. There are some tall buildings in which people like you and me stay. Then we also have a road there. We also have a pond or a lake in which there is water. Along with that, there are some animals also. See, here there is a lion, and here there are some sheep, and then you can also see a giraffe here. You can see a monkey sitting on the tree. You can see some sheep inside the farm also. All right. So take a careful look at this picture once again and try and see what other things are there in this picture. So whatever things you will be able to see here are all part of the environment. All right. And we also, that is human beings, we also are part of the environment. Now let us take a look at a picture from the textbook that you have. See, these are all the things which are there in our environment. So there is a tree, there is a monkey sitting on a tree, there is a squirrel there. Okay, there is a rabbit, there is a man, there are some houses and river, stones. So all these things, children, are part of the environment. So when you look around and when you see anything around you, all that is part of the environment. Okay. And when there are more trees, when there is more greenery, then the environment looks beautiful. Okay. Now let us move on and let us talk about something else now. Now what is this? This is a stone. Okay, these are two stones. These are very common things. You must have seen these stones lying everywhere around your house. So I told you that whatever you see around yourself is part of the environment. So these stones are also part of the environment. Let us look at one more thing which is part of the environment here. Yes, what is this? It is a beautiful little bird called as the sparrow. Now the sparrow is also part of the environment, isn't it? Let us try now to see how the sparrow and the stone are different from each other. Are they the same, children? No, they are very different from each other. So what is the difference? See, let us find out the difference between the stone and the sparrow. So see, this is a stone, correct? The stone cannot go from one place to another. For example, see this stone, if it has to move from here, someone will have to carry it and take it to some other place, correct? But look at the sparrow flies from one place to another. So this is one difference between the stone and the sparrow. The stone cannot move and the sparrow can move. Okay, let us look at some more differences. So see the sparrow, it is drinking water, it is having a bath. All right, the sparrows can also eat. See the sparrow eating. So this is a picture from your textbook. You can see that the sparrow is eating and the sparrow has built a small nest and there are some baby sparrows in the nest. All right, now these baby sparrows and these sparrows, they are eating also. Can the stone eat, children? The stone cannot eat. Okay, can the stone have little babies? No, it can't. A sparrow can have little babies, a sparrow can eat, a sparrow can fly, a sparrow can also grow in size. Can a stone grow in size? So these are the differences between a sparrow and a stone. Now, why are there such differences between a sparrow and a stone? Because a sparrow is a living thing. Okay, it is a living thing. A living thing means जिंदा चीज जिसमें जान है. Whereas a stone is a non-living thing. Stone में कोई जान नहीं है. If you hit a sparrow, it will get hurt and it will scream. You should never do that. Okay, but just to check, a sparrow can feel pain. But if you kick a stone, what will happen? Your leg will pain. The stone will not pain. So, a sparrow is a living thing and a stone is a non-living thing. So, there are so many things around us. All these things can be divided into living things and non-living things. Okay, come on, let's take a look. So, things in our surroundings, they can be divided into living and non-living. Now, in living, we have animals and we have plants, and in non-living, we have everything else. Like, for example, the soil, then we have the stone, okay? Then we have any different thing which you can see which cannot move, which cannot breathe, which cannot feel pain. All these things are non-living. Now, let us take a look at the living things. That is, let us take a look at the plants and animals. So, we have living things and we have non-living things. In living things, we have animals. So, can you try and name some animals? Yes, we have cats, dogs, deer, buffalo, sparrow, rabbit, frog. You know the name of so many different animals. Plants also. Can you try and name some plants for me now? We have the rose plant, the mango tree, okay, coconut palm, so many different kind of plants as well. So, the things in our surroundings or in our environment are divided into living and non-living. See, this is living, it is an animal, all right, see, and this is a plant. So, living things are divided into animals and plants. Animals, they have babies, whereas plants, they grow from the seeds. So, can you see a monkey with its small baby and a mango seed out of which a mango plant is coming up. Alright, there are so many other things also about plants and animals. See, animals can move. Move means what? They can run, they can jump, they can walk, they can go from one place to another. Let us look at other animals also. See, this is a giraffe. A giraffe can also walk like the leopard was running. Okay. And see, even other animals like the snake or smaller animals like insects, they can also move. That is, they can go from one place to another. Now, plants also move, but they do not move like animals, remember. Okay. For example, when a bud blooms, the petals open. So, see, this is a movement. Nah? See, the plants are moving, the flower is moving, but then the movement of the plant, it cannot be seen very easily. Alright, see this plant also. See how it is moving? Alright, so plants move, but animals, the movement we can see. In plants, the movement we cannot see very easily. But of course, they cannot move from one place to another like the animals move. Why? Because they have roots and the roots hold them in a place. Now, what about food, children? The plants also eat. That is, we give them water. They need water, isn't it? And animals also, they eat. So, food, both of them need, plants as well as animals. Okay. So, this is about the difference between plants and animals. That is the difference between the living things. Now, you will learn in much more detail about all this when you go to the higher classes. So, here we are just doing an introduction of all this. Alright. Now, see, we know that plants, they do not move from place to place like the animals. Now, let us do a small exercise from the textbook. Now, you know what are living things and you know what are non-living things. Okay. We saw that in living things, we have plants and animals. So whatever doesn't come in the plant and the animal group are non-living things. So come on, let us see whether we can say the name of these things and whether we can say whether they are living or non-living and whether they are a plant or an animal. So look at the first thing here. It is a very big tree. So what is it? Is it a living thing or a non-living thing? It is a living thing and it is a plant. Okay, come down there, look at the beautiful white colored rabbit. So the rabbit is again a living thing and it is not a plant, it is an animal. Okay, now children, whenever we are doing these video lessons, I cannot ask you any questions while I'm teaching. So what you should do now? Now I will ask you a small question. You should pause the video here and try to answer these questions. And then you can play the video again and check whether your answers are right. Okay, so come on, pause the video here and try and find out whether the other things that you can see here in the picture are living things or are they non-living things. If it is a living thing, is it a plant or an animal? Okay, so have you figured out the answers? So this is a frog and the frog is a living thing and the frog is an animal. What about the next thing that you see? It is a gas cylinder. The gas cylinder is a non-living thing. And for non-living thing, there is nothing like plants and animals. Okay, then you see a tiny small glass there. What is that? That is again a non-living thing. What about the next thing there? It is a small pot of a rose plant in a pot. It is a living thing. And is it a plant or an animal? Yes, it is a plant. Look at the next picture. It is that of a non-living thing. It is a kadhai, okay, or a frying pan as we call it. So it is a non-living thing. What about the last thing? It is a coconut palm. So is it living or non-living? Definitely it is living. And it is a plant too. So did you get the answers right? Very good. I know you are very smart children. Alright, so come on, let's move on and let us go to the next part of the lesson. So let us try and see what all things we get from the environment and let us also try to see what the relationship between these things are. So we get water from the environment. Water and air are two very important things in the environment which all living things need. Okay, so whether it is a plant, whether it is an animal, all of us need water and air. Now, living things also need food. Okay, all of us eat, isn't it? So we all need food also. So we get this food also from the environment. So the basic things that we need to live, that is air, water and food, we get from the environment. Now look at this beautiful picture here in the textbook. So you can see a bird's nest. Inside it there are some eggs. And see how has the bird built her nest. She has used cotton, she has used twigs, she has used a thread. All these things which the bird has used in order to build the nest also comes from the environment. Okay, so you understand how important environment is to all of us. Not only human beings but also to the birds, to the animals. Now what about human beings? What about people like you and me? We also use so many things that we get from the environment. See, we get cotton, we get wool. So this is a cotton plant. All right, see, let's see it once again. So this is a cotton plant. Okay, and see, this is cotton and this shirt is made from the cotton. This frock is made from the cotton. What about this animal? Have you seen this animal? Yes, it is a sheep. And see, we get wool from the sheep, and we make this wool in order to make sweaters. So we get we get wool from the sheep, we get cotton from the cotton plant, then we use bamboo to make these kind of baskets, okay, and the wood is also used to make paper, which is made to use books. So there are so many things which human beings also get from the environment. All right, of course there is the air that we breathe, which is the most important thing. Now children, there are so many things that we get from the environment. The environment also gets so many things from us. Now see, the plants, we talked about animals, we talked about human beings. Now let us talk about the plants. How do plants get benefited from the environment? Look here, what is this? This is a plant which is very beautiful. And what can you see flying around there? Those are the seeds of this plant. Okay, so the seeds of some plants, they are carried by the wind here and there to far away places. And in all those places, new plants grow. That means, see, it is so important for the plants, the environment. Why? Because wind is part of the environment. The plants are using air, the plants are using water, the plants are also using wind from the environment. Okay, so the plants also get a lot from the environment. So living things, they take many things from the environment. Sometimes these things can have a bad effect on the environment as well. It can have a good effect also. Living things also affect the environment. We also, plants, animals, human beings, we also affect the environment. Let us see how. See, sometimes when there are dead animals lying here and there, animals like the vultures, the foxes, they eat the flesh of these animals, and therefore the environment becomes clean. Sometimes when these animals and these plants, they die, they mix up in the soil, okay, and the soil becomes more fertile. So see, when we give to the environment, we can take from the environment. So in one way or the other, all kinds of creatures, living things are dependent on the environment, and the environment is also dependent on the living things. So you can see these are some plants, grass which has died. It is mixed up with the soil now, and it has made the soil very fertile. Okay, so this is how every living thing, non-living thing, whatever things are there around us, all these things are in one way or the other related or dependent on the environment. All right, children. So this was the lesson number 1 from your textbook, our environment. Now children, like in the beginning I told you that after the video you will have to answer some questions, and these questions you will be able to find in the description box. I'm going to talk about the description box very soon, but before that let me help you to read these questions. So there are around 4 simple questions that I've picked up for you. So let me read the questions for you, so it will be easier for you to answer them when you see it in the description box. So name 2 things that we get from the environment is your question number 1. Question number 2 is, what does the sheep give us? Question number 3, name 2 living things. And question number 4, name 2 non-living things. So children, this was lesson number 1 for you, our environment. So children, now you have watched the video. So after you watch the video now, you will have to complete a few simple tasks. Now you might have watched the video on your computers or your laptops or your mobile phones. Now after you watch the video, what will you do? You will please go to the description box which is given below the video. So what is the description box? See, the description box looks like this. Alright, And after you go to the description box, you will see that there are a few questions there. Now, what are these questions about? These questions are about the lesson that we just learned or the video that you just watched. So what will you do? You will think back properly about the lesson and you will try and answer these questions and note down the answers in your notebook if you want. Okay? After that, we have another task waiting. You will also click on the link which you will find in the description box to fill up the Google form. So now what is the Google form, children? It is nothing but a simple form. There are a few simple questions there about the video which you just saw and also about yourself. So these are the tasks now that you will have to complete after you watch each video. So children, wasn't that a very interesting lesson? I'm sure you learned a lot of new things in this lesson. If you have liked this video, please hit the like button and also subscribe to my video so that you will get to see all the videos which I keep posting regularly.